Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name's Joe Kuzma, and hey, look who's back. Back again. Back for the first time. Not the last time. Just this time. And one Mr. Brian E. Roach. What's up, Brian?
How you doing? I'm doing good.
No, wait, hold on. You're doing good? Are you sure you're okay there?
No, I'm not. But I'm doing fine. I'm fine. I have,
We're going to call you Stubbs now? Like, what's going on, man? He was just telling me, he's like, oh, well, at least you could use your hands. It's like, hey, I know, man. I know, and being a married man, you're a handyman. I get it. You just got to take it a little easy there. I know it's Valentine's Day's around the corner here, and, well, that doesn't mean a whole lot for any of us.
Really nothing important to me.
Yeah,
but hey, I got to see my tendons move when I moved my fingers. I got to look at the whole thing, and it was cool. I felt like a Terminator.
I was going to ask, was it like Arnold, like in T2, and you see like
had a big slice right there in my arm. The doctor goes, here you go, and he had it all spread open. And he said, now move your fingers, and you could see the little white things moving up and down, look like little, machinery.
Yeah. Like, well, you are a machine. Cool. Yeah. So, no, that's cool. I know I have some friends who have like the Terminator they started like the whole tattoo thing, like a sleeve down their arm. I don't have enough guts to do that. Any tattoo. I just someday maybe.
I've got tattoos, but I don't want to do sleeves because I don't want to do them.
Well, it looked unprofessional. Obviously, when I said in my world of officiating, it's like you would have to wear long sleeve jerseys all the time, and once upon a time you wanted everybody to match shorter long sleeve jerseys and things like that. You really want to see the guy that's all tatted. I guess it's probably more acceptable as time has gone by, certain things in society, but at one point it was an unprofessional look, and besides, I'm just not going to throw anything on my body. It's got to be important, so probably like my kid's birthday or something like that. But I didn't tell. Oh, by the way, Valentine's Day around the corner. We'll bring that up real quick. I didn't actually give Brian what the topic of discussion was today. I kind of have an idea, and I know he can come up with things on the fly. He's going to come up with things for me. It's going to be fun. But we're talking about just real quick, and it's going up on the website, our favorite Steelers, and I don't think we have to ask who yours is.
No, you don't. It's Cam. It's Cam,
yeah.
Grown ass man. Period. It's the end of the story. Well, who else would it be?
I don't know. You know what? I kind of struggled with it because I love everybody. It's hard for me.
Well, yeah.
I love you. It just, I love everybody. The old brother love.
I don't love everybody, but I love everybody on the Steelers. I don't love everybody.
The old brother love skit, an old wrestling manager. I love you. And it used to just tick everyone off because he really didn't. He was a jerk. But so they kind of, I don't know, the hat fits, But
there you go.
Mike Hilton. I picked Mike Hilton, even though he may be headed to free agency, and we'll discuss that. The Mighty Mouse, I guess. Somebody said that was maybe his nickname, but I guess Mike Hilton is my pick. I don't know. It's hard for me to be so cliche and just be like Minka or TJ or something like that. And of course, Terry was very cliche and went with Ben, who everybody hates now. So Ben and Juju, she picks them both. Yeah. So it's like, hey, let's double down on this. So
there you go.
So Valentine's Day, my friend. You know what my favorite game is to play on Valentine's Day? Play with loved ones. Favorite game. Solitaire.
There you go. I was going to say the airing of grievances.
I'm not the only one, but apparently they have a Galentine's Day where, the ladies just kind of ignore this holiday and ignore us men and just do their own thing, which actually I'd prefer it that way. And then, you don't have to waste money.
It's a made-up holiday anyway. I don't care. It's made up. It's
flowers that are going to die and everything else. Crap. So another game, it was a great segue. There was a point to that, actually. Would you believe it or not? Somebody's going to be, wait a minute. The old watch, I said the Watchola. It's not the Timex. Actually, it's the Apple Watch. Ben got fined for wearing one of these. Just bumped the mic. Sorry if that came across audibly.
I have a Garmin.
Ooh, I like those.
Garmin
I almost
Phoenix
got one of those.
Sapphire.
Yeah, you got to track all your miles when you go into the back. You're back there where the hills have eyes. So
sometimes not where I live, but yeah, sometimes where I go.
No, not where you live. I didn't want to insinuate that, nor me, man. God forbid. Anyways, games. My kid came to me, and I guess it's a little party thing you could do. And would you rather? And I thought, what a great idea for a podcast. You pick two things and you say, would you rather? And I kind of almost did this. We got some comments, on the previous, 2-3 shows ago. I'm having a hard time remembering. I know it wasn't with you, so you haven't been here for a month or so. But anyway, New Year's resolution,
I got to spend my time with Levon.
That's right. Captain Kirk, man. That was some entertaining stuff, by the way.
It's very exciting.
Well, I started this, and I guess I kind of answered before. You weren't there to answer, and I guess we'll start with it. I asked the question I posed: would you rather bring back James Conner or Juju Smith-Schuster? And I said Juju. That's my pick, obviously, because he's the possession guy, he's the physical guy. I feel like he's a coming of age, a new Hines Ward for this team.
I can't disagree with that. I'm in the same boat. If I have I've seen that on Twitter, right? People are like, who would you bring? Which offensive player would you bring back? And they added Zach Banner in there, but I'd still go with Juju. To me, who has the most potential value to the offense? It's Juju. I love James Conner. I love the guy. I love his grit. I love the way he plays. The problem is he's hurt half the time, and I don't think that he's really a feature back. So Juju, I think, gives you the best tool set. So Juju.
Fair enough. Okay. Since it's this has been a hot topic of discussion, I'm going to try not to take up the entire podcast with this one. Would you rather have Mike Tomlin as your head coach or someone else? And I'm saying someone else because a lot of people, Bruce Arians. There's people that are like, Bruce Arians. I'm going to repeat it again, even though our loyal listeners have heard this several times. 7 seasons, 8 years, because he took one off for retirement. Before Tom Brady arrives, 1 playoff win in overtime against Green Bay because of Larry Fitzgerald's 75-yard catch and run. Because Carson Palmer was running for his life in what is Bruce Arians' offense. And he didn't even make the postseason, 2 or 3 times, maybe even that, during all those tenures. And half of that was, did he inherit Chuck Pagano's team? I love these type of questions, Even in Tampa, it's like, who was even there before? Dirk Cutter or whatever. Did he inherit Dirk Cutter's team or whatever? Because we're talking about all the good players that are there. Everybody's always like, Tomlin inherited Bill Cowher. And it's like, would you rather have Mike Tomlin or Bill Cowher? And then, we're going to get to this. We're going to have a whole topic of discussion again because everyone's like, oh, Cowher's players. It's like Lamar Woodley was not one of Cowher's players. Santonio Holmes did not play in Super Bowl 40. He wasn't on the team. Those teams, I get it. Big Ben, Troy Polamalu, Heath Miller, 3 years in a row, the top 3 first-round draft picks. If you want to include like Jeff Reed and Greg Warren, long snappers, special teams, not even the punters. The punters weren't even the same between, the 2 winning Super Bowl teams in 05 and 08. There's 3 years separation. It's a lifetime in the NFL. Rookie contracts are, typically a 4-year deal if they fulfill and play the entire thing. So it's just when people get into that type of discussion with the would you rather this guy or that guy, it's like, man, it took Bill what? 15 years. I'm sure if we had social media back then, people would have been all over him. Choke artist, you get a bye, and you get a bye. You always do well in the regular season. You get a bye, and then you can't. You win maybe 1 playoff game, or you get bounced early, or you get bounced in the AFC title game, or all the same criticisms exist. It's like they're good coaches. They're still good coaches, but please stop with the Bruce Arians stuff, folks. Please stop it.
Yeah,
stop it.
Is there somebody other than Tom? I don't know. I don't know if there's another coach out there I'd rather have. It wouldn't be Bruce Arians.
No. He's old. I don't know. How long is he going to do this for? He's got his ring. I'm surprised he isn't just hightailing it out of there already.
Don't diss it on him because he's old.
Well, he's older than you.
I know he's older
ancient.
than me, but You can't yell at people because they're old. That's no good.
I know, but look at you. You're falling apart there.
I'm not falling apart. I got a surgery.
Oh, you got fixed. Now you're back.
I got fixed. Yeah. I'm good. And I ran 6 miles the day after my surgery. So there you go.
You're a madman. He is a Terminator.
I am insane. But I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I'd have to really think about that question as far as if there's another coach in the world somewhere that I'd rather have. But if my options are Bruce Arians or Mike Tomlin, I'm sticking with Mike Tomlin. And in most cases, I'd probably be sticking with Mike Tomlin. Let's be fair. Coward. No, at this point, I'd rather have Tomlin.
Okay, you know what? I'm backtrack to Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers here. We got a free agent in Leonard Fournette. This wasn't on my list. If you come up with one, if you come up with one, by all means, throw one at me. Would you? This ain't even a would you rather, but there's so many people that are thinking about Leonard Fournette here. They keep talking about him. They're talking about him. Blah 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 blah. Noah, who was with me on the last one in your stead, we didn't bring up the full stats. Okay, he had a solid postseason, but he did nothing. Yes, he did. It was like, what, 379 yards, if that, during the regular season?
In the regular season, yeah, lame. Come on. Come on, pass on that. Would you rather Leonard Fournette or James Conner or anybody else? I'd rather draft a running back. How about that?
We're getting to that.
In the third round, I'd rather draft a running back than sign Leonard Fournette.
Oh, we're gonna have a whole podcast on the different positions and stuff because we got stuff to talk about. We got offensive linemen, we got running backs, we got quarterbacks. Oh yeah. There's a gentleman that's always messaging me. I won't out the guilty here, but he wants the game-changing tight end, and I'm just kind of like,
go away.
It's so far down my list. If you look at the brick wall here, and it was like, the heights, and this is a chart. And tight ends down here somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's out. I'm not. You're not drafting a tight end in the first round. And sorry, I don't think there's a draft. There will be a tight end drafted in the first round. I don't think it's worth drafting any of them in the first round. Forget it.
I don't think the Steelers draft one until day 3, if they do at all.
If at all.
We'll be getting to that. These are quick hitters. We're going to get into the detail. Yep. We need to leave meat on the bone.
Well, this is an easy one for me, but I got one for you.
Okay.
Would you rather sign Bud Dupree or not?
Oh, you know what? That was at the bottom of my list. It's here. It's here. It's in the chart. I said, would you rather pay Bud Dupree or save the money and play Alex Highsmith, which is kind of where I would go. It's tough. We're hearing the cap's going to be more than we thought it was going to be.
It's not tough for me.
You want Bud. You need Bud.
No matter what.
Bud, no matter what. Okay. It's man, I would love it. I'm just wondering how they could spread some of that money out. If you get past 2020, if you go to 2022, man, that's tough to say. Say that 3 times fast.
2022.
22, too many twos. And beyond,
yes.
They're going to have a lot of money. They got a lot of people coming off the books, potentially even, Ben may have his spread out. And would you rather Ben play in 2021 or retire?
Play.
I'll play. I'll play the game too. Definitely.
You know my feelings on Mr. Rudolph, so play. Ben. Play.
Well, I'm going to get to that here in a second too, but I parlay that with the Bud Dupree thing too, because I think you can't restructure. There's a percentage of what you're allowed to restructure over however many years. Ben has a single year on his contract. There's no restructure. They're going to have to extend him.
Yep.
And then float that money over whatever. And we saw some trickery just happen with Drew Brees, and everybody's like, oh, the Saints did this. This is what the Steelers can do. No, Drew Brees, it's a retirement thing. And then, you could cut it in half, but his cap hit, Ben still has a bigger cap hit. He's still owed $19 million. So I think that's the only part that gets split, unlike Drew Brees, who was owed, I don't know, $24 million, $23 million. Man, you want to see a worse cap situation than the Steelers? Just look up the Saints. They're not even halfway there. Bon Jovi. We're halfway there. Oh. Anyways, not halfway there. Ben retiring would get the Steelers there, and then
don't do that again.
We're basing that on a lower. I'll never do that again. I'm terrible. Do not get me on karaoke night. And I won't do karaoke night either. So it's irregardless. There's a good Pittsburgh word for you. Irregardless. That's what my mom's saying with Warsh and Measure. So. It's tough for me, man. I would love to have Bud back. I'm doing the two-parter here. Ben saves them some money. They get a couple other guys they need to pay here too, and we'll get to that in a second with the other guys who pay. I'm up in the air because if you let some of the other guys go, but you keep Dupree, I'm not going to be brokenhearted. I think losing Bud Dupree was after already losing Devin Bush. Both of those guys, and this is what a lot of people don't understand when I'm talking about the would you rather with Mike Tomlin. He can't win with all this talent. Great regular season coach. Yeah, great regular season coach because his players are healthy. He gets to the playoffs. He doesn't have them. I mean, they barely beat the Bengals. That whole list that we were going through, right? And it's like, do you not remember Vontaze Burfict, UFC style, laying on top of Ben, kneeing him, and then Ben had to go out of that game, and Landry Goat came in and threw a pick, and you're lucky Shazier knocked the ball out, and Burfict is who he is, and then he is who he is, knocks out Antonio Brown, and you don't have him or Le'Veon Bell when you go to the next week against Denver and still almost win because you got one hell of a coach there. But Le'Veon Bell wasn't around for that Ravens playoff loss. The one year they did have him and they had AB, Martavis Bryant was suspended for the season. He wasn't there, so they didn't have all these killer bees that you thought that they had. And that's when the moment got too big for the receivers. I mean, they just doubled Antonio Brown. Bell went out in the AFC Championship game after breaking Franco Harris's record week 1 against the Miami Dolphins and then breaking his own record that he broke that week in the second week in the divisional game against the Chiefs that featured a ton of field goals. And it's like, they barely beat Alex Smith. Please save it. Ben got knocked out of that Ravens game too, where they had Ben. I have a bad word I use in place of Tate. It rhymes with paint that I use for his name because just it was just a bad situation not having the running back. And it's like, they get blamed because they didn't have a backup running back. No, LeGarrette Blount quit on the team and walked out midway through the season. That was the backup plan because he couldn't play. He couldn't play as a team player there for whatever reason. And of course, he goes to the Evil Empire and helps them get another trophy, as it would always seem to have with that. I still say there was some shenanigans there that should have been some tampering or something that should have been investigated. So, the only time they had all of these guys was when Jesse caught it, but Tony Corrente said no. And then I mentioned this again, and I'm still harping on it just because everyone brings this up after around the Super Bowl, brings it up because of the playoffs and whatnot and everything that happened. They play the Jaguars and get seeded against the Jaguars because they didn't beat the Patriots. They should have been the top overall seed and not had to play Jacksonville. And maybe something changes, or I don't know. Maybe they turn the ball over. Maybe you have, the same situation with Tevin Smith, I think. Yeah. Telvin Smith. I can't remember his name. He was a middle linebacker and he abruptly retired. Well, he had a 50-yard pick six, and they turned the ball over a few times. They were down, 21-0? Very similar to this Browns game. It's like, they don't have everybody prepared. It's like, come on. It's just bad luck. That's why Todd Haley got fired with that game, and that's the reason, I guess Randy Fichtner gets fired, but we knew that all along, and still they put up a lot of points against Cleveland. But just going toward that aspect, Brian, would you rather draft the QB of the future now or later?
Later.
Me too.
I don't even like any of the QBs that are in this draft.
Here's the thing.
That they'll have a chance to draft. Let's put it that way.
Yes. That's that. Stop. Mac Jones, stop it.
Out.
Stop it. Stop it. If you don't like Mason, if you don't like Mason Rudolph, you're really not going to like. And if you haven't liked Landry Jones, you're really not going to like Mac Jones. He's not the Mike Tyson's punch out little Mac guy. No. Did you see the guy without the? Did you see him shirtless? Looked like a
no. Yes, I did, and I can't get. I don't want to stop bringing up bad memories. I don't want to know that again. I never want to see that again as long as I live.
He looks very soft. Let's just put it that way. Not a premium athlete look whatsoever.
No, people give Ben crap for being soft. Look, this guy makes Ben look like Hulk Hogan.
He does, man. Just wow.
See me? Look there. I threw out a wrestling reference,
and
I don't know jack about wrestling.
Yeah,
wrestling.
I know.
Wrestling.
At least Mac needs like a tan too. He was blinding me.
Oh my man!
With that shirt off.
They say I'm pasty white, but man, don't shine a light on that dude, man. You'll blind yourself.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, we've just ticked off a whole lot of people. Would you rather use the top draft picks in this year's draft on offense or defense?
Line, O-line, end of story. Be quiet. Get out of my face.
You just jumped past my question because I said, would you rather get O-line or a running back with that top pick?
O-line, period. End of story.
Everybody's like, Najee Harris does not need to be a first-round draft pick.
No, he doesn't.
Last year, one guy, one running back, picked 32 overall, which swings me back around to the Tomlin thing, by the way. What's the highest Steelers draft pick in the last 10, 15 years? Aside from Devin Bush, like their natural draft position. You know, Bush because they traded up.
Bud, 15, something like that?
I think it may be Shazier. I'm actually going to find this out. Team draftees. Well, it wasn't Chase Claypool because he was picked 49.
Second round. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Come on now. Here we go. Devin Bush at 10, but they had to move up for that one.
Yep.
They were out of the playoffs. They were like at 18, I think, that year. Terrell Edmonds picked 28. T.J. Watt picked 30. Artie Burns picked 25. Bud Dupree picked 22. I was right. Shazier picked 15. Jarvis Jones picked 17. David DeCastro 24. Cameron grown-ass man Hayward 31.
31, yes.
Maurkice Pouncey 2010 18. So you got outside of the top 20 twice in like 10 seasons. Ziggy Hood at 32. Right at the bottom. Mendenhall at 23. Lawrence Timmons at 15 when Bill Cowher failed Super Bowl hangover last season. Yep. Santonio Holmes was 25. Heath Miller was 30. They moved up to get Ben and then Troy Polamalu, 11 and 16 there. So a lot of times here with the Steelers, Kendall Simmons 30. You can keep on going, and then this was back. You know, we're almost back into the 90s now. The end of the 90s. Casey Hampton in 01 was 19. Plaxico Burress was 8. Troy Edwards 13. Alan Faneca 26. It's amazing they still find the guys that they find later in the first round, particularly TJ. That's got to not sit well with a lot of executives and coaches. And really, really not sit well. Remember, so Pro Football Focus said Terrell Edmonds is the most improved Steelers player for the 2020 season. And I think we were already on that train of thought.
A lot of
people, he's a bum. He's garbage. They pull out stats. It's like, go look at Chris Hope. Go look at, Ryan Clark and guys like that. I understand, strong safety or free safety or whatever. They're trying to hold him at a Troy Polamalu level here.
Yeah, you can't do that. Not everybody is a Hall of Fame level player. And
would you rather
hold them up?
Fifth-year option Terrell Edmonds? That's coming up. I mean, Minka's a shoe-in, right?
Yeah, there's no question about Minka. When is it? Is that this year or next year?
Yeah, he's entering year 4, so they have to do it now. They have to decide that now. But they can rescind it next year before beginning of the season.
Then I say you do it, and then if you don't like what you see this year, then you rescind it.
I mean, I could put this guy up. When you talk about would you rather's, would you rather Terrell Edmonds or Shamarko Thomas? Will Allen, Sean Davis.
I kind of liked Will Allen, but Ohio State guy, so I kind of had to like Will
Mike
Allen.
Mitchell.
I like Mike Mitchell. Mike Mitchell is, I like him.
The point is they're different. It's different. A whole bunch of different styles of players here.
Yes.
And different roles. And
and for what you're asking Terrell Edmonds to do, he's getting better at doing it. We'll see. We'll see. If he continues that kind of growth. We've said this about Bud Dupree. We've been saying it about him. If he continues the trajectory of growth that he has shown, then all of a sudden it's going to not be, Terrell Edmonds stinks. Because the year before Bud Dupree broke out, it was, Bud Dupree stinks. And it's going to be, you got to sign Terrell Edmonds. Got to keep him around. Oh, my God, can't let him go.
Not the kind of guy to say I told you so, but told you so. That's where I'm on the Edmonds, what do you want to say, upward trajectory. Someone will say that, just like I said, Steven Nelson there. So, but like I said, you were definitely offensive lineman with the would 100%. You rather over a running back. Round 2, offense or defense? You still going offense?
I'm probably still going offense.
I probably am too. I don't know about the double dip. We're going to get into more of this, obviously, as we start looking into draft, but it was just cursory here, just kind of exploratory. I don't use either of those top 2 picks on a running back, a tight end. I don't even want to use one on a wide receiver. I guess it all depends I don't even know if it depends if Juju comes back or not.
For me, it doesn't.
They'll probably eventually grab one in the draft somewhere.
Yeah.
But they don't need to shoot high like they had been with, James Washington or Chase Claypool or somebody like, especially because
depends on
Chase
what the
Claypool.
value is. To me, if I'm drafting, if all things are equal, I'm probably going to double dip. I'm going to take offensive line, an interior, and a tackle, one way or the other. That's what I would do. But if there's a value especially in the second round, if there's a value pick there that you just can't pass up, well, that's different. Then you look at that and you make a decision. But all things being equal, I go tackle in the first round and some interior lineman in the second round.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. It all depends, right? Pick 24, still down the totem pole.
Still down there.
Yeah. And it's, going back to the quarterback of the future type thing, I guess you can get somebody there.
No,
but
you can't. No,
there's people who truly, honestly believe, number one, that you could trade existing players like a Mason Rudolph or Josh Dobbs that isn't even going to be under contract and get a first round
picks.
The nonsense that I see for that, it's like, go back and look and see what was given away for Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's talk, and the Jared Goff and Matt Stafford thing has totally thrown everything off too. It's just because Jared Goff has a ludicrous contract.
Yes,
you're going to see very much that type of compensation. Those draft picks are to make up for all those millions of dollars these teams are taking on with these bad contracts for a Goff or a Carson Wentz, or I won't say a bad contract for Deshaun Watson because I feel he's deserving of that. We don't know. Houston keeps saying they're not going to move.
The Deshaun Watson trade will not be the same. You will not see those same kind of incredible draft pick numbers coming out because as you said, the compensation is much more viable for him than Jared Goff. You're paying Jared Goff inordinate amounts of money and he's not that good.
Yeah, you're paying these guys both, up here somewhere in the stratosphere, and one's here and one's here as far as like their on-field performance. So
those picks, you're exactly dead on. Those picks are compensation for the money, not for the player.
Yeah, and I'm trying to so getting back to that, it's kind of like we're hearing things being thrown around too. The Green Bay fans are even now starting to talk. Do you move on from Aaron Rodgers? Why'd they take Jordan Love? How long are you going to let him sit? Is that somebody that you trade? We're going to hear about all the free agents too that are hitting. Well, Jacoby Brissett's going to be hitting free agency maybe. Let's get him. Yay, better than – no, stop. No, stop. Probably fetch more money that you don't want to spend.
Zacchadonia, no on the air. I don't want Mr. Overrated here. So I saw a Zacchadonia tweet, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. I know you're being sarcastic, and thank God you were. Otherwise, I would have had to smack you upside your head.
No, and what? Aaron's only like a year or two younger than Ben, isn't he? Is he 36? I'm going to look it up. It was only
doesn't matter.
The
He's
draft
overrated.
After.
Doesn't matter. Don't want it.
People forget that he's 37. So December versus May or whatever with Ben. So a year and a half. It was only the draft there.
December May romance.
Yeah.
Isn't that a phrase?
I don't know. Sounds like a romance book. So it was only the draft after Ben. I mean, he just had to wait for Brett Favre to retire, not retire, retire, not retire, leave, and play for the enemy there within their own division. That's not what I would want to see. I don't want to see Ben go to like the Bengals and then take them to the AFC title game, though. No, I think he'd walk away, and he pretty much already he should go to Cleveland and then get his record back for most wins at First Energy Stadium. Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers, geez, and a lot of people are like, I would give my left foot for Deshaun Watson, and then when you do, you turn into the Houston Texans. Just be careful what you wish for.
You can't. The nonsense of this is, first of all, what are you going to give him? Second, how are you going to pay him?
Now, you can't.
You can't. You can't do it. So just stop.
Steelers don't have high enough of a pick to probably make that worthwhile. And what do you get? So you can give away
the next 3 years of your future for a guy that you can't really even pay, and then you're strapped beyond that.
You made me remember something. A Pittsburgh guy here, right? Mike Ditka. Do you happen to remember Mike Ditka making a trade with the New Orleans Saints that set the franchise back like a decade.
Yeah.
A decade. What did he do? He gave up, was it every single pick in the draft for Ricky? Was it Ricky Williams?
Ricky Williams, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was Ricky. Well, hold on, I'm here.
Here that wasn't Herschel Walker, was somebody else.
Roundly criticized for the trading of all of the team's 1999 draft picks plus their first-round pick in 2000, the entire 99 draft and their next first-rounder to Washington Redskins at the time to move up. Who, I don't know. I looked to see who they got out of this trade. They didn't make out very well, but again, it's Washington, so not the paradigm of virtue there as far as your franchises and franchise building.
Doesn't matter. He gave up all that for a running back. He's smoking the pipe. He's on the crack pipe. Ditka was on the crack pipe on that.
They did get Champ Bailey. They got Champ Bailey out of this, but who's to say
Bailey's
they wouldn't
a nice
have
player,
anyway?
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hall of Famer, but,
a running back. Come on.
Oh, I forgot about this. Trade was further mocked because of a magazine cover in which Ditka posed with Williams, who was wearing a wedding dress. It was like, yeah, you guys are married to each other now. You're going to be on the same boat out of town, too, when this
They
doesn't
should have
work
flipped
out.
it, though. It should have been Ditka in the dress because he was Ricky Williams' biatch.
Yeah, and I mean, Ricky, you're so fine.
Ricky. Yes, there you go.
So, would you rather Mike Ditka trade? Would you rather trade away your whole draft or keep all your picks, or would you rather trade it all away for Deshaun Watson? I am not throwing all of that away for anybody at this point. It's just no.
That's just nonsense. No.
And people still think there's still an assumption here. It's just like, well, the Steelers have all this and that. No. They got a bunch of guys that are, on the one foot out the door.
They got issues.
Right,
they got stuff that they got to fix.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. Starts with the offensive line.
Yes, it does. Not even just the running backs, but Connor might be gone. Juju might be gone. My next two guys here, we talked about Dupree already, is another free agent, but would you rather bring back, this is either or. I want both of these guys. Would you rather bring back Mike Hilton or Cam Sutton? Brian just had his head on the mic.
That's tough. Yeah, it's just like that's a tough call. I'll tell you, I probably lean towards Cam Sutton, not because I think he's a better player, but they will get him for less money, and Hilton's going to cost more. And I think that Cam Sutton probably has more years in him now than Mike Hilton does.
Well, that's where I'm leaning too. Business decision, but best ability is versatility. Cam Sutton can play Mike Hilton's spot. If you get one more year out of Joe Hayden, maybe. And then Cam Sutton could go outside, and maybe they bring somebody else in that can be, I don't know, it's just any of these nickel guys. They could draft someone. They found Hilton undrafted, and that's not to say. I just got done saying that Mike Hilton was my Valentine guy too. I absolutely love him, but yeah, Cam Sutton's showing me some big play Willie Gay type stuff there too, which I still can't believe he's tied with the GOAT Rod Woodson for the most pick sixes. And he should have had another one with that bogus penalty up in Buffalo. He should have the franchise record.
Yes, he should.
Unbelievable. Well, we already did Bud Dupree, so I guess I got to go with something here. This is going to be a tough one for you too, Brian. Would you rather have a football that's signed by both Harbaugh brothers or Neil O'Donnell?
Oh, Jesus, God. Why do I have to have any of that crap? It's actually not that hard. I'd rather have the O'Donnell ball, simply so I can, now you make me say he who shall not be named's name.
That was the whole point of it. I had to.
I want nothing Harbaugh anywhere in my house.
Well, I was going to say, like, I was going to pick one of them, and it's like, would you rather have John or Jim Harbaugh as your head coach? And I mean, I just say that very, very vague, pro or college level. I'd rather have John Harbaugh.
I don't want either one of them. The hell with it.
Less of a head case, I think, even
although
though he still cries enough.
I think John is a much better coach than Jim. I think Jim is a buffoon. So, despite Michigan. I just think he's get your stupid khaki pants and get the hell out of here.
Would you rather who would you rather have as the Steelers the chief division rival, the Ravens or the Browns?
Ravens.
Really? Still right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see the Browns ascend because that probably still means the Ravens haven't descended necessarily.
Yeah. No, I'd rather have the Ravens. The Ravens, that relationship, right? I'm friends with a Ravens fan. I can be friends with a Ravens fan. I want to smack Browns fans in their head. I don't like them because they don't live in reality. I'm sorry. They live in this world where it's just, come at me. I don't care. I'm old and grumpy.
But you don't moderate the YouTube channel like I do. Stop.
Come at me, Browns fans. Come to New Jersey. Come on. Go ahead. I'll give you $1.
Whap. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. I don't want to see. It's just so painful to have the season end the way it did. Would you have rather the Steelers played their starters and knocked the Browns out?
Yes.
And then not had to. Hindsight's 20/20, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a shame that the way it went and the Dolphins sucking the way they did lined it up so it was they were probably going to play the Browns or the Ravens, really.
Yeah.
That was the realistic option.
Either or. It was no question about it.
And I did like their chances better against Cleveland until they snapped the ball over Ben's head and, saw it in the Super Bowl too with Tom Brady and Ryan Jensen. And, it's, hey, it happens. It happens. But,
Didn't end in 7, that's all.
No, because they didn't do the Ben/Cam Newton don't fall on the grenade drill there. So it's, I don't know. I'm still irritated, obviously, over that stuff. And I don't have any more, I don't think. I was trying to think of maybe a few others that would you rather the Steelers wear the block number jersey throwbacks, which they didn't wear this year, or bring back the Bumblebees?
Bumblebees.
I like the Bumblebees.
I like the Bumblebees.
I like the color rush too. I actually like the color rush better than when they wore those very similar style jerseys. I want to call them Pittsburgh Pirates jerseys is what I want to call them. The 75th anniversary where they had the gold helmet. You go back and look at that, and then it was really cool at the time. Trust me, I liked it. But now I look at it, and it feels out of place. I like the color rush better with the black helmet and without the white pants. I like just the black, all black.
All black is good, yeah.
Yeah, very solid look. Can't think of anything else here, to be completely honest with you. I was thinking of who else could be a free agent. Who else could you possibly want to draft?
Well, who are they gonna? I guess. Let me ask this. No, I can't even ask it because it's just too stupid.
I entertain stupid questions 24/7.
I know, but any question about Sam Darnold is too stupid. I just can't answer.
I get where everyone wants to pull people off the trash pile, and there is a potential. There's a possibility. I saw what Ryan Tannehill did. I always thought Tannehill was talented and just in a bad situation. I haven't felt as strongly about Darnold myself personally. Would I absolutely hate that they add him? No, but I would much rather roll with the two guys. I'd roll with Rudolph and see if Haskins can do what he could do. There was something there, Brian. I'm going to bring this up to you just because it was another he who shall not be named. He used to wear 84, the same number as Jeremy Tooman. He's very popular in these conversations now because he got his participation trophy. And some people were talking about Tomlin isn't a disciplinarian. Tomlin can't control teams and stuff. You had no idea how wild and crazy this guy was until he left town. It was right at the tail end when everything started to come out of Pandora's box there. So I truly believe, and you hear everybody we've ever talked to that has played for Mike Tomlin has nothing but high praise, and even people who haven't have high praise based on their other dealings within the football community for how he handles his team. I know Terry Bradshaw wanted to call him a cheerleader. Okay, maybe he doesn't have – I don't know that you could still have the same type of disciplinarian style.
You can't be a Chuck Noll guy. You can't be a Chuck Noll guy.
You can't be Bob Knight and throw chairs
around.
No,
you can't.
It doesn't work in the this era.
No. Just look at all the players who are like, I demand to be traded. I demand this. Players didn't do that crap back in the day. You couldn't get away with that because the team would just go trade. Goodbye.
To a certain degree, you had Mike Merriweather. Yeah. Rod Woodson held out.
You could hold out, but it was much rarer, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have that same kind of leverage that players have nowadays, where they're willing to go ahead and take it because. First of all, because they're going to get paid ridiculously more than they were getting paid back then. And it's different when, I'm going to sit out because I'm going to get $50 million next year like Le'Veon did, or I'm going to sit out because I'm going to get $3 million next year. No. There's a lot of differences in the era, but you cannot have those kinds of situations. I mean, yes, there's a certain amount of discipline that goes on, and guys will get, sat, guys will get pulled, whatever. But most of that's been done internally, and that's the way Tomlin handles most anything that he has to deal with is internally. We never hear about it. That's why we never heard about it until the individual whom you are speaking of got sloppy sick with Mr. 12, TB12, and lived in his house and became his best friend. I don't know. I'm not insinuating anything.
He tried out for the Saints. The Saints, and then the Saints said, "Thank you, no, thank you." Yeah.
Look, I can't even say that he got a participation trophy because he scored. Le'Veon Bell got a participation trophy if he would have won, but
he scored on a quick slant, 5 for 20 yards, man.
And he ran the wrong route.
Yeah. I mean,
but beside the point. Look, I'm not happy for him. I don't care about him anymore. All right, I don't care. I'm not going to celebrate the joy of an ex-Steeler did well in this instance because beep him.
And they usually don't do well. And look at the whole point was the path of which he went to go there. So it's like, would you rather bring him back or something like that? No, I mean I
will be happy that Larry Foote got a ring. I'll be happy that Antoine Randall L got something. I'll even be happy Bruce Arians got something. I'm not happy about that idiot. Sorry, I'm not.
I'm totally on board with you. So I don't know, man. I think we got our point hammered home here. We've got some things to talk about in the near future. Well, when me and Brian could actually get together here and discuss some of this stuff, so we get on the same page. We're going to be talking draft. We're definitely going to be talking about offense, offensive line, quarterback of the future type stuff. We got statistics and stuff to support it. We got some more Mike Tomlin talk. We will get to the running back discussion as well. I'm just pumping the brakes. I don't want to make this a very long, belabored show talking about that, but you just go back and look at some of the past drafts and who went high and who didn't. I don't know why people think you could find quarterbacks in the middle rounds, which is much more rare, even first round picks. EJ Manuel, hello, there's a name right there. And
come on,
that year Geno Smith was the top guy and he was in the second round.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of, just
more of them fail than succeed.
And that doesn't matter what round they come out of.
Regardless of more of them fail than succeed.
And then running backs have been somewhat devalued to where you get a quality guy. You get guys that are leading among the league leaders in rushing that are undrafted, and the Steelers have done that themselves, even with Willie Parker in the past. So, you think about the top picks that were spent on running backs. Who is there besides Mendenhall? Tim Worley. It's would you rather? I would rather not. There even back then when they were valued a little bit more. Mendenhall had maybe a good season and a half. I understand he ripped up his knee and then he started, he went into conspiracy theories about 9/11 and stuff like that and just fell off the face of the planet. But it's just, we'll get into it a lot more. I know people get excited. It's even to say, how high do some of these guys go? Are they warranted to go there? You have very few, maybe, like Ezekiel Elliott. A little bit of regression, some of that not having Dak, of course. Christian McCaffrey, some of the other guys, maybe not so much. So we'll be getting into that soon as well. We'll see.
Let me just ask you this. Would you rather, if you're not that you could ever be one of these, but if you were a Cowboys fan, would you rather have paid Zeke that money or not?
Not as early. Like, you talk about players holding out and crying. What was he in? Like, he was just entering the third year of his contract. He had only played 2 seasons, and he started with the rambling about money. And, Jerry Jones is hey, say what you will about Jerry Jones. He put his money where his mouth was. He said he was going to take care of it, and he did. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Dak. And Dak, it's a very inflated market where any marginal quarterback is making like probably in the 20 million range now.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are now in the 30s and now, hitting into the 40s. You see Kirk Cousins get like 96 million and almost all guaranteed. These are the things. This is where it's been headed. Deshaun Watson, and you got some other guys that are about to go on the books here. I guarantee the Ravens are, backing up the truck with, Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield and guys like that. But I just thought that with the Zeke thing, I thought he jumped the gun on it a little bit. I mean, if you're entering what's essentially like a first round pick franchise tag with the 5th-year option, as we were mentioning earlier, the rookie contracts, the way they structured this CBA over a decade ago originally, you had guys like Jamarcus Russell coming into the league, getting an obscene amount of money, having not thrown a pass or done anything. And I still say to this day that guy was either the biggest genius or the biggest moron, because he walked away. I don't know, how much did he have? Like about 30 million or so in the bank that he never had to pay back to the Raiders. Never really did anything and was out of the league. He just knew, I'm cashing in on my great college career. I don't feel like taking any hits. I don't really care what anybody thinks of me if I suck or not. Or he just really was that bad and flunked his way out of the league. But they had to upend this because you had veterans that were just sitting there on the discard pile that couldn't get any sort of money after, being vested veterans and actually putting their bodies on the line in the league. So it kind of turned its way around now to where, if you're a first-round rookie, like a guy like Devin Bush isn't necessarily underpaid by any means, but it'll be making more. Obviously, Bud Dupree got $16 million on a franchise tag. That's more than he was making on his previous rookie deals, maybe even combined. I don't know. I'd have to go. I will go look real quick, so I'm not talking out my posterior. But it's just one of. I guess it's one of those things there where. Ever since this has been switched around, now you got the rookies are going to say, I wish Zeke, back to Zeke, which was the original topic of discussion here. Why so early? If you're coming off year 4 into year 5, and now they're going to extend your contract, make it longer, this and that. So they gave him a bunch of stuff up front, but I think that was a mistake. And I think they overpaid Amari Cooper. What was that, $100 million or whatever? Like Jerry Jones, kind of out of his mind. Save a little bit in the till so you could pay some of these other guys.
Yeah.
You talk about what you will with Ben. This is way worse of a situation, let alone a few other teams that have done it.
I'm just going to say it this way. Don't pay running backs. Don't pay running backs. Not huge. I don't care who they are. Don't pay running backs.
If you are a young man getting into the sport of football, play any other position.
Quarterback.
Play quarterback. That's one.
Play linebacker. Play anything. But
you get fined if you play defense.
That's true. Out of games. You get fined. You get thrown out of games. You get fined. You're not allowed to tackle. You can't do anything.
But even if you do play quarterback, we're being funny here, but some of you're going to have to make your hay probably being like a backup, like a Colt McCoy that's been around forever. Some of these guys like literally like hang around forever. You forget they're even still in the league. And, RG3, another example, although he was gone for a year there too. So let me see. Bud Dupree was almost 16 mil, 15.8 last season. His rookie salaries, his cap number is cash paid. His cash paid as a rookie was 5.4 in 2015. His cash paid was then $854,000 in 2016 because you got signing bonuses obviously. So 1.2, 1.6. And then when they 5th-year optioned him, he was at 9.2. Nobody wanted to do that for almost 10 mil. That is some, bargain basement type for an edge guy. Like I said, who gets paid? The quarterbacks, and the guys who go get the quarterback. Those are the guys who make the money in this league. So, yeah.
And Aaron Donald.
Brian, would you rather the NFL named TJ Watt Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes. It's that. Look, Aaron Donald is JJ said it very well in his tweet. Mm-hmm. Aaron Donald is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of player, maybe at like a Joe Green level kind of player. He is a complete player on his own. He's that kind of player. But last year, TJ Watt was Defensive Player of the Year. Not about reputation, not about everything Aaron Donald's done in his whole career. Last year, TJ Watt was Defensive Player.
Yeah, and I say that just for all the turnovers and everything else that he forced, and he totally changed games up on there. I get the dominant individual player, but the way TJ changed games, has been changing games over the last 2 years, kind of unfortunate. But Dupree, 34.2 lifetime so far earnings, cash paid, according to overthecap.com. 15.8 of that was that franchise tag last year, so not quite half, but almost there. He almost doubled it just there, and he's gonna back up that Brinks truck as well. So we'll see whether or not the Steelers. A lot of people will say the Steelers are cheap and they wouldn't want to pay him. That's not necessarily true. They pay a lot of guys. Ben, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. They went out and got Joe Hayden when they needed to do it. So they also have to consider what's coming off the books and what's coming on the books. TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, those are looming. Devin Bush will eventually get his a few years down the road. So that's why they got all the wizards like an Omar Khan. Thank you, football gods, for allowing him to stay in Pittsburgh, because I know he's been on the kind of the warpath there, the world tour.
Yeah, he was making the rounds.
The GM interviews and executive interviews and whatnot, and I know the professor has his ideas on who may eventually take over Kevin Colbert. Will the Steelers be in a rebuild mode? I don't know. We're going to continue talking about that. The last time we thought they were in rebuild mode, it was a very subtle 1-2 year turnaround right back in the mix. And I think they have enough pieces here to the puzzle, depending on what the salary cap ends up being, that we're going to be in the same type of deal. How long will Mike Tomlin be coaching the team? How long will Kevin Colbert be around? I think Kevin leaves sooner than maybe Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin may still have a little bit, again, a little bit of a, what do you want to say, bone of contention there is I think he still wants to win the big one. I think it's been sitting, he's been snake bitten with some bad luck as far as execution in games or guys that he doesn't have. Oh, by the way, that Jacksonville game where they did have the killer bees, that was where Ryan Shazier wasn't in that game too, and I always have to bring that up. Yeah. And then they spent 2 years trying to find the guy. But everyone forgets that. Tomlin's such a failure, but they got to get another linebacker to replace Ryan Shazier, and it's like, well, and then they finally got it, and then he was gone, and it's just like, geez, unfortunate. So, Brian, thanks for joining me once again today. Would you rather be on the show, or would you rather have Noah or Zach Meckler stand in your place?
No, I'd rather be on the show.
Okay.
I love those other guys, but I don't want them here. The hell with that. No. I'd rather be on the show.
Eventually. It's kind of chaos and turmoil, too, if we have, 3-4 talking heads here. It's why it's usually either just one of us or, we try to at least do 1v1 here with us or a guest.
Until we do our live mock draft, and then we'll go nuts because there'll be 5 of us.
And that's why I let you do that, because it's just chaos and pandemonium, cats and dogs. Getting along, whatever.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole Bill Murray line. I'm with you.
Gotta love Bill Murray. Although,
absolutely. If you don't, then get off my lawn.
You shot me. The zombie land.
Yeah.
So, alrighty, folks. Thanks for joining us once again. I hope you have a little bit better of a Valentine's Day than the handyman Brian E. Roach or the solitaire player Joe Kuzma here. So until next time, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.